Imagine the Valley of Mexico 2,000 years ago. Vast plains stretched beneath snow-capped volcanoes and shimmering lakes reflected the sun. At first sight, it was an empty land, dry, fragile, and uncertain. Yet within this silence, a new civilization was about to rise. A people whose names we do not know, but whose stones still stand, whispering across centuries. The earliest communities were small villages of farmers. They planted maize, beans, and squash, living close to rivers and springs. Life was difficult, with floods, droughts, and eruptions from nearby volcanoes. Survival demanded unity. Slowly, scattered families began gathering into larger groups. By around 200 BCE, these settlements merged and something astonishing began. A city started to take shape, planned, ordered, and ambitious. Wide avenues stretched like straight lines across the land. Stone platforms and temples rose toward the sky. This was not an accident. It was a vision. The city that would later be called Teotihuacan. The name Teotihuacan was not given by its builders. Centuries later, the Aztecs discovered the ruins and called it the City of the Gods. They believed the pyramids were too massive for humans alone to have built. Even today, the true name remains lost. Unlike the Maya, these people left no written texts, no royal records. Their story survives only through ruins, murals, and mystery. Archaeology suggests the city was a melting pot. Pottery, tools, and burial styles show influences from Oaxaca, the Gulf Coast, and even Maya regions. It seems survivors from disasters or migrations gathered here to form something new. Many cultures, one city. Perhaps that is why no single king appears in its history. Teotihuacan may have been ruled collectively, with the city itself as the supreme symbol of power. The builders aligned their city with the heavens. The main street, later called the Avenue of the Dead, runs perfectly with the sun. The Great Pyramids mirror constellations above. This was not just urban design, it was cosmic architecture, turning the city into a map of the universe. Ritual offerings buried beneath temples tell us about their beliefs. Obsidian blades, animal bones, and even human sacrifices were discovered. Murals show feathered serpents, storm gods, and celestial beings painted in colors that still glow today. To these people, the city was alive. Every stone carried sacred meaning. Yet for all its grandeur, Teotihuacan remains silent about its founders. Who were they? Why did they unite? And why leave no record of names? In the very heart of Teotihuacan rises a monument that still dominates the valley, the Pyramid of the Sun. Towering more than 200 feet into the sky, it is one of the largest pyramids ever built on Earth. From a distance, it appears like a mountain of stone, perfectly aligned with the heavens. To approach it is to feel the weight of history pressing down, a silence filled with mystery. Archaeologists estimate the pyramid was constructed around 100 CE. Millions of tons of volcanic rock were carried and stacked without iron tools, without wheels, without beasts of burden. Generations of workers devoted their lives to raising this colossal structure. Why? For whom? The answers remain hidden beneath its stones. The pyramid's alignment is no accident. On the day of the summer solstice, the sun sets directly in line with its western face. The builders understood astronomy with remarkable precision. To them, the pyramid was not only a temple, but a bridge between heaven and earth, a sacred stage where cosmic forces met human devotion. Beneath the pyramid lies one of its greatest secrets. In the 1970s, tunnels were discovered running under the base. Inside were offerings, obsidian blades, pottery, animal remains, and traces of liquid mercury. Some believe this mercury symbolized rivers of the underworld. Others suggest it was meant to reflect the night sky, a mirror between life and death. Whatever the meaning, it speaks of a people obsessed with cosmic balance, sacrifice, and divine order. Climbing the pyramid even today is an overwhelming experience. Each step feels heavy, as though the stones themselves resist. But at the top, the view is breathtaking. To the north lies the Pyramid of the Moon. To the south, the endless Avenue of the Dead stretches into the horizon. The city unfolds like a cosmic map, carefully designed to reflect the movements of the stars. The scale of the Pyramid of the Sun suggests mass rituals were performed here. Thousands could gather at its base, priests climbing the stairs to burn, offerings, music echoing across the valley, incense rising into the sky. Imagine drums beating, shells sounding, voices chanting. For the people of Teotihuacan, these ceremonies were more than tradition. They were survival. The gods had to be fed, the balance of the cosmos maintained, and yet, for all its grandeur, the pyramid keeps its silence. No inscriptions tell us the names of the rulers who ordered its construction. No carvings record the prayers spoken here. Only the stones remain, vast and mute. What we do know is that this pyramid shaped the life of the city. It was the center of religion, astronomy, and politics. It gave Teotihuacan its identity and inspired awe in all who approached. Even centuries later, when the Aztecs found the ruins, they believed this was where the gods themselves gathered to create the world. The Pyramid of the Sun is more than a monument. It is a riddle carved in stone, a testament to human ambition, and a symbol of mysteries still unsolved. It stands not only as a relic of the past, but as a question that echoes across time. What drove an ancient people to build on such a colossal scale, and why did they vanish without leaving behind their names? Teotihuacan was not just a city of stone, it was a city of the stars. Its builders saw the universe not as something distant, but as something to be mirrored on Earth. The entire city was a cosmic map, a place where geometry, astronomy, and spirituality were fused into a single vision. At the heart of this vision was the Avenue of the Dead, a grand road that stretched for miles, straight and unwavering. It was no ordinary street. On certain days of the year, the sun set perfectly along its axis, bathing the city in golden light. To walk this avenue was to walk in harmony with the heavens. The pyramids themselves echoed the constellations above. The Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon were not built randomly. Their positions reflected celestial alignments, particularly Orion's belt and other star clusters important to ancient priests. For the people of Teotihuacan, the city was a stage where the movements of the heavens were reenacted on Earth. Sacred geometry shaped every plaza, courtyard, and temple. The builders used exact ratios, repeating patterns of triangles, circles, and squares. These forms were not just aesthetic choices. They symbolized cosmic order, the balance between earth, sky, and the underworld. Each measurement carried spiritual weight, each angle a reminder of harmony. Recent studies show that the pyramids are aligned with volcanic mountains in the distance, linking the sacred geography of the land with the design of the city. The builders saw no boundary between natural landscape and divine architecture. Mountains became guardians, rivers became lifelines, and pyramids became man-made peaks of spiritual power. Priests and astronomers were central to this world. By observing the stars, they could predict rains, mark planting seasons, and time rituals. Without written texts, their knowledge was preserved in architecture itself. The city became their calendar. The rising of Venus, the movement of the moon, the cycle of the sun, all were recorded not in books, but in stone. One of the most striking discoveries is how Teotihuacan resonates with sound. Standing at certain points, a clap echoes back as the call of a bird. This was no accident. Sound was part of the sacred design, connecting human voices with the natural world. Geometry here was not silent, it was alive, vibrating with meaning. Murals within the city reveal more layers of symbolism. Feathered serpents twist across walls, representing both the earth and the sky. Storm gods bring lightning and rain, linking weather to divine will. These images show that for Teotihuacan, astronomy was not just science, it was faith, survival, and destiny combined. But perhaps the most enduring mystery is why. Why build a city so perfectly aligned with the cosmos? Why pour generations of labor into creating a map of the universe in stone? Some suggest it was a way to claim divine legitimacy. A city that mirrored the heavens proved its sacred authority. Others believe it was about survival. By aligning with the stars, the people hoped to guarantee rains, harvests, and cosmic balance. Even today, when the sun sets over the Avenue of the Dead, or when the moon rises behind its pyramid, the alignment still feels intentional, breathtaking, almost otherworldly. Visitors sense the same awe the ancient builders must have felt. The feeling of standing in a place where earth touches the sky. Teotihuacan's sacred geometry and astronomy remind us that this was never just a city of humans. It was designed as a city of gods, a blueprint of the cosmos, etched into the soil of Mexico, enduring long after its builders disappeared. Behind the grand pyramids and cosmic alignments, Teotihuacan was also a living city, home to thousands of men, women, and children. At its height, it may have housed more than 125,000 people, making it one of the largest urban centers in the ancient world. Yet unlike other civilizations, no kings or rulers stand out. Instead, the power of Teotihuacan seemed to rest in its collective strength and the shared life of its people. The city was divided into neighborhoods, each with its own compounds, courtyards, and workshops. Families lived in multi-room stone apartments, often decorated with painted murals. These were not simple huts, but carefully designed homes, evidence of a society that valued order and community. Within these walls, daily life unfolded. Mothers grinding maize into flour, children playing in courtyards, and artisans shaping tools from obsidian. Markets were central to city life. Merchants gathered in plazas, trading textiles, pottery, feathers, and food. Obsidian, the volcanic glass found in the region, was particularly important. From it, craftsmen made razor-sharp blades, mirrors, and ornaments. Traders carried these goods across Mesoamerica, spreading Teotihuacan's influence far beyond its walls. Religion also shaped daily routine. Temples dotted the neighborhoods where incense burned and offerings were made. Priests performed rituals, not only in the Great Pyramids, but also in smaller shrines, linking each district to the larger spiritual order of the city. Festivals brought music, dance, and processions. The beat of drums and the sound of conch shells echoed through the streets, uniting the community in celebration and devotion. Art and color filled the city. Walls were painted with brilliant reds, blues, and greens depicting gods, animals, and abstract symbols. These murals were not mere decoration. They carried spiritual meaning, reminders of the forces that governed life. In one, a storm god pours water onto fields. In another, a feathered serpent glides across the sky. For the people, art was a bridge between daily life and the cosmos. What is striking is the absence of royal imagery. Unlike Egypt with its pharaohs or the Maya with their kings, Teotihuacan shows no single figure commanding power. Instead, its art focuses on gods, rituals, and collective identity. This has led many scholars to suggest the city may have been ruled by councils or priestly groups, rather than by one supreme leader. Power belonged not to one man, but to the city itself. The diversity of the population also defined Teotihuacan. Archaeologists have found evidence of entire neighborhoods dedicated to people from distant lands. Merchants from Oaxaca, craftsmen from the Gulf Coast, even Maya communities. Each group brought its own traditions, foods, and crafts, creating a multicultural city centuries before the modern world. This diversity helped Teotihuacan thrive as a hub of trade, culture, and innovation. Yet beneath this vibrant life, shadows remained. Evidence of human sacrifice shows that devotion to the gods sometimes demanded the ultimate price. Warriors, captives, or even volunteers may have been offered to secure the city's cosmic balance. To the people of Teotihuacan, sacrifice was not cruelty, it was duty, a way to ensure life continued for the many. Walking through the ruins today, it is easy to imagine the city alive. The smell of cooking fires, the laughter of children, the hum of markets, the chanting of priests. Teotihuacan was more than stone. It was a heartbeat, a collective rhythm of thousands of lives intertwined. This unique blend of unity, diversity, and devotion allowed Teotihuacan to flourish for centuries. Its people were builders, traders, artists, and believers. Though their names are lost, their presence lingers in every mural, every courtyard, and every stone that still stands. For centuries, Teotihuacan thrived as the greatest city of Mesoamerica. Its pyramids touched the sky, its avenues stretched endlessly, and its people lived in unity. But like all great civilizations, its glory did not last. By the 7th century, the city of the gods began to fall into silence. The reasons remain uncertain, yet the evidence paints a story of unrest and decline. Archaeologists have found signs of fire in temples, broken statues, and murals deliberately destroyed. It seems the very symbols that once unified the people became targets of anger. Perhaps rebellion swept through the city. Perhaps the people turned against their leaders, burning the temples in acts of defiance. Climate may have played its part. The Valley of Mexico could be both generous and cruel. Periods of drought would have devastated crops, leaving thousands hungry. Floods from the lakes could have drowned fertile fields. As food became scarce, tensions grew. The great markets that once overflowed with goods may have turned into places of desperation. Social inequality may have fueled anger. While the city's murals celebrated gods and rituals, daily life for ordinary people was not always easy. Farmers worked long hours to feed the city. Craftsmen labored to produce goods that enriched traders. If rulers or priestly elites demanded too much tribute, resentment could have turned to rebellion. Violence appears to have spread across the city. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent, once a place of magnificent ceremony, was set ablaze. Its sculptures of gods and serpents were smashed. Similar destruction is seen in other major structures. This was not a foreign invasion. It seems to have come from within. The people themselves dismantled the symbols of their past. Yet, rebellion alone cannot explain the city's final silence. Over time, Teotihuacan's population began to decline. Families abandoned their homes. Neighborhoods emptied. Trade routes that once carried obsidian and textiles across Mesoamerica shifted elsewhere. The heart of the city slowly stopped beating. By the end of the 7th century, Teotihuacan was no longer the mighty city of the gods. Its pyramids still stood, but the plazas were silent. The markets were gone. The rituals had ceased. What remained was stone, grand but lifeless. Why exactly did this happen? Scholars continue to debate. Some argue drought and famine forced people to leave. Others believe internal conflict tore society apart. There are even theories that religious shifts led to the rejection of old gods and the destruction of their temples. The truth may be a combination of all these factors: climate, politics, and faith colliding in a storm that shattered the city. For later civilizations, this fall was a mystery as great as the city itself. The Aztecs, arriving centuries later, found only ruins. To them, it was unimaginable that humans had abandoned such magnificence. They believed gods, not men, had built Teotihuacan, and perhaps gods had destroyed it too. Today, when we walk through the Avenue of the Dead, we see both grandeur and emptiness. The silence is heavy, as though the city itself remembers its fall. The broken murals, the charred stones, the deserted compounds, all whisper of a once great power that vanished almost overnight. The collapse of Teotihuacan is not just a story of ruins. It is a reminder that even the mightiest civilizations are fragile. Power, faith, and unity can build wonders, but they can also crumble when balance is lost. And yet, though its people disappeared, the city did not die. The pyramids endured, carrying their mystery into the future. The fall of Teotihuacan was not an ending, but a transformation, turning a living city into a legend, a place of gods and ghosts. Why centuries after Teotihuacan's collapse, silence covered its pyramids. Grass grew over stone, murals faded, and families from distant villages farmed in the shadow of forgotten temples. By the time the Aztecs arrived in the Valley of Mexico in the 14th century, the city was already ancient. To them, it was not a ruin of men, but a creation of gods. They called it Teotihuacan, the place where gods were born. The Aztecs wove the city into their mythology. They believed it was here that the gods gathered to bring light into the world, sacrificing themselves so the sun could rise. The Avenue of the Dead became sacred ground. The pyramids were not monuments to a lost civilization. They were living shrines, proof of divine presence. Even in ruin, Teotihuacan inspired awe. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they too were astonished. The scale of the pyramids rivaled anything in Europe, yet the conquerors saw only empty shells, unable to understand the culture that built them. They recorded fragments, but the mystery deepened. Who were the builders? And why had they vanished? Modern. Archaeology has slowly uncovered pieces of the puzzle. Excavations have revealed tunnels beneath the pyramids, filled with offerings of obsidian, shells, and mercury. Murals show gods with wide, staring eyes, feathered serpents, and images of fertility and war. Apartment compounds reveal a society, both advanced and complex, a city that planned not only for ritual but for daily life. Still, the greatest questions remain unanswered. No king's tomb has ever been found. No hieroglyphic texts explain the city's history. The builders remain nameless. Unlike Egypt or the Maya, Teotihuacan speaks only through stone. Its silence is part of its power. Today, millions of visitors walk the same paths once tread by priests and merchants. They climb the Pyramid of the Sun, gazing across the valley, imagining what it looked like when the city was alive. They see the Pyramid of the Moon rising in the distance, the Avenue of the Dead stretching endlessly. The experience is humbling, connecting past and present in a single moment of wonder. Teotihuacan's influence can still be seen across Mesoamerica. The Maya adopted elements of its art and architecture. Later cultures carried forward its religious symbols, its obsidian trade, its vision of sacred geometry. The city may have fallen, but its spirit traveled through generations, shaping civilizations that followed. Yet the mystery lingers. Why did it collapse? Who built it? What did the people call themselves? Each new discovery brings us closer, yet also reminds us of how much we do not know. Some see this as loss. Others see it as a gift, the gift of wonder, of imagination, of questions that keep the past alive. As the sun sets today over Teotihuacan, golden light floods the ancient stones. The pyramids cast long shadows across the valley. Tourists leave, archaeologists pack their tools, and silence returns. In that silence, the city seems alive again, holding secrets too great to reveal, guarding mysteries meant for eternity. Teotihuacan is more than a ruin. It is a reminder that civilizations rise and fall, but their echoes endure. It is a testament to human vision, to ambition, to the dream of touching the heavens, and above all, It is a riddle that challenges us to look beyond what we know and to wonder at what remains hidden.